Hey guys, Engineer Wannabe here with my good buddy Clayton from the Watchdog podcast. It's good to see everyone here. Good to see you, Clayton. It's always a pleasure to have you, and you're always so generous with your time. So
Oh
I'm really,
gosh.
really appreciate it.
Yeah,
uh,
I
uh,
sleep through most streams. I don't feel so generous, but
how are things going with you?
yeah, like I was telling you in the green room there. It's been a rough couple weeks, a little stressful, but everything's coming up and coming out well. So I think we're on the other side of it now. But been a trying couple weeks. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, everything's good. I'm happy to be here with you.
yeah. I'm glad you're here. What's on your wrist?
Oh, so I did it mostly for content. I think that was my number one reason. We've done a
Yeah,
lot of podcasts and streams about this watch. I came out and said it's one of the most overrated, whatever I said, watches I just don't get. The Oris Aquis, but I went with the Dat Watt
yeah,
LE. The it's the one I think I said if I were to get one, it would be this one, and
yep,
it has the interesting sort of lunar calendar,
yeah.
29.5 day lunar cycle. It has looks like a peanut there. That's the tide graph. So it's really cool. I did kind of Google. It tells you in the instructions to Google the lunar calendar. It literally says Google it, which I thought was pretty funny. So I
Yeah.
did, and we're currently on like the 8th day of the. And actually, I saw the moon earlier, and I looked at my watch, and it matched. So like, I
Oh,
guess I'm
wow.
doing pretty well. So it's a cool. It's a really cool watch. You know, the Aquis is a watch I've just not never been quite sure if I want to get one. My buddy and I went to the authorized dealer yesterday. I actually tried on and saw a bunch of new releases and some older models as well yesterday, but a ton. And we both saw this, and I tried it on for the first time. I'd seen it before, but never tried it on. And my friend was like, "Wow, that's." He kind of hated it in pictures, but
Yeah.
he's like, wow, it's way more impressive in person. And that's typically the case. You feel one way or another, whether versus seeing it versus seeing it in pictures. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with it. My wrist just must be funky because I'm having a hard time getting a great fit on the bracelet. It
Hmm.
works now, but I think when my wrist swells in the summer, I'm going to have to add a link, and then it might be a little loose. Um,
Right.
it's just I don't know. Same problem I have with, and only 3 micro adjust. I wish
Um,
there was 4 micro adjust.
you should get the rubber strap, the
Yeah,
Oris
for
rubber
the
strap.
summer.
It's
Yep.
legendary.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'm trying to figure out which color would look. Because it's sort of like it sort of changes from really deep blue up top to a more of a gray
Yeah.
fume at the bottom. So trying to maybe I'll look and see what kind of colored strap I can get for this watch.
Yeah. I have a navy strap I could send your way. It's been cut to my size, so I don't know if it'll be any good, but
Oh,
you could harvest the clasp. I don't have any Oris's, nor do I ever intend to buy a 43.5 millimeter size again, so I could totally just send it to you.
it's
Uh,
crazy how well it actually works. I remember
yeah,
the 41 wearing better for whatever reason, but
yeah.
yesterday and maybe I've begun my holiday eating a little early, and that's why. But I don't know, it just works way better than the. I tried on the new the Sun Wukong, I believe I'm saying that right, the brand new Oris Aquis that was just released.
Okay. I'm
Uh,
I'm a little behind the times on that, but
yeah, it's a brand new limited edition, really
okay.
neat dial, and that's 41.5, and that felt tiny, and this one just felt better. So
Yeah. Hey, if it felt tiny, that means it felt perfect for me.
yeah. It didn't feel tiny. It just kind of felt. I don't know. This one feels better for my wrist, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I was surprised but not surprised because I knew you wanted the DAT watt.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I knew that you were kind of conflicted with the Aquas because you thought it was a bit too blingy, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw that you got it, I was like, oh no, he actually did it. That's good.
When I
So
was in there last month picking up the No Time to Die, they did not have the Dat Watt. They had one previously and they sold it, and they didn't have it. And I checked out the blue caliber 400, the one I believe Tennessee Mike has,
yeah,
and that one just was a little too. I don't know. It's beautiful, but just not quite my style. And this one, it's just it has that different kind of vibe. It still, of course, has the trademark, polishing on the bracelet and everything like that. But I don't know, it
Yeah.
works a little better. And yeah, my friend John and I both agreed, like it's really stunning. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just gonna skip ahead to the chat because I figured my statement was could be kind of misconstrued. Justin, the reason why I said I don't intend to own a 43.5 millimeter Aquis is because I intend to own a 41.5. It,
I know.
I
I actually thought like, wow, he is really coming up with a strong anti-Oris stance. My gosh.
no, I'm biding my time with the Oris, trying to figure out which one I really want. Upcycle is really high on the list, but I think I might wait a little longer. Wait for a perfect 41.5. I think
Yeah.
that's the sweet spot for the Aquas. So yeah, I will have an Aquas again.
You should
So
check out that new model. It might be a little too funky, but it's kind of cool.
yeah, well, I like funky. So,
Sun, and then it's Wokung. Yeah, Sun
so
Wukong.
Oris, Aquas, Sun, Sun.
Yes,
I'm gonna share my screen
I
here.
wrote it down here
Yeah.
somewhere with my Twisby fountain pen.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that. So you inked it up?
Oh yeah, I wrote all my notes tonight with it.
Nice. Okay, we gotta talk about that. But okay, so Sun
And then Wokung.
UNG. All right. Oh, it's already on corner
That,
24.
that's it. Yep. It's pretty cool in person.
Yeah,
41.5. Yeah.
yeah, it is kind of funky.
Yeah.
uh,
You have to really, at first I was excited about it. And also I was not impressed with it's the first Aquas I tried on yesterday. And we
okay.
had talked about, you made a somewhat controversial statement saying that the bezel action might be as good as the
Yes.
Submariner. And then I tried that one and it was not good at all.
Oh
But
no.
then I tried this and I wouldn't say Submariner good, but very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was saying very close
Yeah.
is
It's
what
very
I
good.
meant.
But that one I was not super impressed with.
Okay, so they're kind of slipping again then. Maybe they had a good run and I was getting
I
very
think I
impressed
tried
with
a
them.
few on yesterday, and all three were really good except for that one.
Okay.
But it could have just been that particular watch.
Yeah, that's too bad if it's not consistent. But anyway, on my wrist is the watch I need to review. I was hoping to this by this weekend, but I couldn't. The SJE 085. I should be reviewing this week. Not a
Uh-oh.
review of death. I'm telling you,
Oh,
it's
not a review of death.
not
Okay.
a review of death. Not this time. This will stay. I'm pretty confident. Like I start to feel like, oh, OP is kind of cool. I could go for an OP, a green dial OP, or an Explorer. But then I put this on and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever on the OP. So yeah, this is perfect for me. Um yeah, let's jump into the chat, say hi. Peter, good to see you. We got AZ Clayton, Bill K, Wilson. Good to see you guys. Justin, I already said hi to you, kinda. Time Hill. Joey's here too. Hey, Lord Lofi's here. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Kevin 00. Underachieving watch collector. How's it going?
Hello.
Floriosum. Glad to have you here, Floriosum. Um, let's see, Dirk. Hey, Dirk Werning.
Hey, Dirk.
I hope I'm saying the name right, but yeah, look at
Yep.
that. We're gonna be chatting about one of his videos. Um, he keeps going back and forth on the Aquas. He said, if we're gonna go on the Hulk variant, I highly recommend the Hangang. Beautiful dial, the Oris limited edition Hangang, and the case back is incredible. So. Um, not special or anything, not well decorated. It's just a really nice engraving. Wayman, good to see you. Hey, Chaz is here too. I don't think I said hi to you, Chaz. Um, Time Hell Steve saying still having nightmares about Sanchez on the white birch. Talk about the white birch today.
Yep.
Kevin, how's it going, man? From Lakeland, good to see you. Bruno, good to see you, sir. Joey's wearing the Pelagos. Hey, WatchChris is here too. How's it going, sir? We gotta have you back on Watch Soup. See, when Bobby Legs had like the steering wheel, he was so good at like networking, but like chatting with everyone. I'm rammed when it comes to time. I barely had time to respond to Instagram messages, and so I keep thinking, oh no, you gotta have Chris back on. Always never get around to inviting Chris. or Average Joe. I feel I need to reach out to Average Joe. I'd like to have Miguel from SoCal, and just so many people. Try to get Evan. You're terrific.
Oh
It'd be
gosh.
cool to have everyone here. Yeah, and all you guys, if you guys want to come on and chat about videos, everyone's welcome. So it's not just the YouTubers.
I highly recommend doing Watch Soup. I really get a kick out of doing, making the notes and doing the research and talking about the videos. So it's a lot of fun for me. So
yeah,
you should all
absolutely.
try it.
Yeah, gotta have Chaz back too. Everyone, oh man, it would be so cool to have like a full panel of Watch Soup. We'd be here for hours. But yeah, Lord Lofi's wearing his little big pilot. Very cool. Or was it the big pilot? I think it was a big pilot. I don't know why I thought a little big pilot. Sorry. Easy Clayton digging at me about maybe it not staying, but I'm sure it'll stay. Snowflake for Steve. I'm guessing Steve's wearing Snowflake. All right. I'm gonna jump down. Hey, WatchChris is wearing the Seamaster 300 trilogy. Recent pickup.
Nice.
Excellent watch. Okay. So, your Twisby Eco. Can we chat about that super quick?
Yeah.
How are you liking it? How are you liking writing with it?
I love writing with it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love writing with it. Make my schedule out with it. Taking notes for this. Done some other writing with it as well. I think I'm a one. Like I'm very practical with knives. I think I'm a one pen guy. I don't have any urge to get another.
Yeah.
And then I got a Glashute original. But yeah, just ballpoint. Come on, Geo, step it up. But no, that's really a nice pen too, and actually really writes really nicely. But nothing like this. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm okay with just this one. I don't know that I'll venture down that rabbit hole the way I have with watches, but you never know. I've been known to change my mind.
Yeah. Okay. And you got Noodler's Black Obsidian.
Yes.
Is it Obsidian Black?
No,
I'm thinking of Lamy ink. Sorry.
Yeah.
But, that Noodler's ink is legendary. Just the black, very permanent. Very interesting guy too. But Jason says that Seiko's one flat tire away from out of here.
Oh God.
I'm telling you guys, it's not going. We'll see. It's made permanent on the internets now. Okay, so the reason I mentioned the pen was I didn't get to make any notes, so I'm shooting from the hip, as they say, today.
I took pretty detailed notes on a couple.
Yeah,
Not the Paul Thorpe one.
Yeah,
but the others I did.
Yeah. Well, I have a decent memory, so
okay.
we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Just meant to make notes, and then my wife and I were talking about a school curriculum for my son, and time just went whoosh. So much for that. Chaz actually has a Sailor King of Pens inbound. Oh man, Chaz, I need one of those. I need like a Visconti Opera Master and a Sailor King of Pens. Anyway, I'm okay. I'll be okay. Okay, so let's get started with our videos. And I didn't even do the banners. So Man, we're really slumming it today. But let's go ahead and start with the reviews. The reviews for this week, I watched two interesting ones. The first one was let's just get our buddy Evan out of the way. You're terrific. He did a great review on a Tag Heuer Aqua Racer. This time it was called the Night Diver. So fully lume dial, very interesting looking watch. I have not seen this one before. So I did see this Aqua Racer come out this year, and I was one of the guys who was kind of disgusted by it because it was it was so much like a S&P 300, right? It had the scallop bezel, not exactly the same scalloping, but dodecagon bezel and wave dial and stuff like that. So I was not impressed. But this one is really different. This one probably didn't even look related to it. A fully loomed dial with blacked out indices on most of the markers except the cardinal points. And it has two-tone loom. Really interesting watch. The rubber strap looked really good as well. The review was very good as well. It looks like he was out at the beach and
Yes.
he had some really great footage. His banter wasn't as I don't think it was as funny this time. It was still an incredible review. I didn't find myself snickering away in the while driving. I don't know if you had any moments you're.
It was his delivery. So I like the lines, like the one about Bond slowly killing a
Oh,
villain with a
great.
tritium, but the delivery like wasn't quite there up to his usual standards.
Yeah,
I like the material. Maybe he's just
yeah,
having an
yeah.
off night.
He had a he had some good segues. Like
Yeah.
he's a big baby. He's he understands that he has big baby and how big, which and he went right into his wrist
Yeah.
size, right? Big enough to have an 18 centimeter wrist. So yeah, I appreciated those things, but I wasn't chuckling as much as I normally do when I watch these videos. But great video from Evan. I don't know if you have anything to add, Clayton.
Yeah, I've been so I really like older Heuer divers from the 80s. I've been long. I don't know if I'll ever actually get one, but I look at them a lot. I know like DC Vintage has them quite often, and I've always really thought it was really cool that what the watch he referenced in this video, the fully loomed dial, the Night Diver from the 80s. So I think it's cool that they did this one. I've seen the Aqua Racer in person. It's a big watch. It's too big. I probably would not buy one, but I think it has its own design language. I recently saw online they do like a Pepsi GMT Aqua Racer, and somebody called it like a Rolex homage. And I don't know. A lot of people kind of
Hmm,
took them to task on that. Rolex doesn't have full license on the Pepsi colorway. Other than that, it really does not look like a GMT Master 2 at all, in my
right.
opinion. It
Yeah.
has its own design language. So I think the Aqua Racer's pretty cool watch. It has the plastic movement holder, and a lot. It gets ragged on for that a lot. And Tag gets ragged on a lot by the enthusiast community. Maybe unfairly so, maybe fairly so, somewhere in the middle, maybe. But I think this watch is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's long overdue that they came out with this. But again, if they still did it in the 41 millimeter, I'd be tempted. But the 43, it's just a little too much on my wrist for the price.
Yeah. I hear you. Um, yeah, a 41 would be a good size, I think. So
Yeah.
you don't think, I mean, I can kind of see how this is not really an SMP. I mean, I wouldn't call it an homage, but the similarities for me were striking thinking back to the memory of the Aqua Racer itself. Um, so you wouldn't consider this to be very similar to the
I
SMP?
don't think so. I think they're different enough. If you see
Okay.
them side by side, they're fairly different. Maybe other people who have seen them both disagree, but no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Just doing a quick search here. I mean, at first glance, yeah, I get
I could
that
see why you
Seamaster.
would think that. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, now that you mention it, I'm looking really close, and yeah, it's different. I thought this was a wave dial. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I mean, this one looks more like an SMP than I think the previous iterations of the Aqua Racer for sure.
Hmm.
But still, I think it has its own design language too. But yeah, I can see your point as well for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Let's jump into the chat before moving on to the next one. Neff says, if you have a fancy pen, then do you also write on scrolls? Seems like a must. You know, theoretically. No, really. You do write on a lot of loose leaf paper, and the paper, fountain pen friendly paper. Like if you want to get really crazy, is kind of has like a scroll like feel to it. So maybe not fibrous, papyrus or anything, but yeah. Neff also says Night Diver is really cool. Just wish it was 40 millimeters.
Agree.
It would be outstanding at 40.
Yep.
Justin says you're terrific. Could sell Sanji on any watch. WatchChris loves the Night Diver. Very cool. Yes. Hey, Justin's here too. My other pen buddy. It's spreading, guys. It's spreading. The pen virus. Says I just draw stick figures in the dirt. Hey, Bruce, good to see you. Curtis Nielsen, good to see you as well. What watch are we just talking about? We're talking about the Tag Heuer Aqua Racer Night Diver. Junior Johnson, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Oh, there we go. Justin's rating with his fountain pen as I listen to the stream. Yeah. He just picked up an incredible pen. Justin, I'm man, there are too many good pens. Okay, I'm done. All right, next review that we're going to chat about was the this is kind of a watch we talked about previously on Watch Soup. It was the Tissot. What was it called? PRX. Yes, thank you. The Tissot PRX. Watchfinder had the Powermatic 80 and the regular PRX, the quartz one, in for review, I guess. And they did a really good job showcasing this watch. I was really impressed with, the detail that they went into. I was impressed with the dial of the Powermatic 80. So Watchfinder was basically saying this is a watch you kind of have to own, unless this is like a no-brainer watch. You just spend your money already because the value for money is so high, and the watch is so affordable, relatively speaking, that it's almost a no-brainer, unless they had the caveat that your wrist is too small, which I fall under that category because the end links flare out too much for me to actually enjoy this piece. But man, it's a good looking watch, the Powermatic 80, especially because you don't have to worry about the second sand not hitting the markers. It's a nice looking watch. Your thoughts, Clayton?
Yeah, I like them too, but same thing. I think even for my wrist, I think that it just overhangs. That dimension was it 40? It's misleading because of the way the lugs just fall. So the integrated bracelet. I had the Citizen titanium armor, which was very similar. I think it's like a 40 millimeter case, but it just the way it wore with the integrated bracelet, it just looked huge, much bigger, wore much bigger than it was.
Yeah. Which is interesting. Yeah, you would think based on its dimensions that it would be actually a really good pen for almost all wrist sizes, but unfortunately not.
You
And
said a really good pen for all wrist sizes.
I said a pen?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that was awesome.
That is not good. That is not. No. My son and I we were watching this pen video together. So my son, he's 5, and he's really into pens too. So right now, what we do is before bed we watch a pen video together, usually from Goulet Pens YouTube channel. So it's just I guess it's in my subconscious now.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, because my son asked me earlier. He said, "Daddy, I like pens. I like pens a lot." And he asked me, "Are pens your favorite thing in the world?" And I said, "No. watches are my favorite thing in the world. So and he said, well, that's too bad, but I like pens. um, so yeah, sorry guys. Anyway, let's go into the chat here. I can't believe I forgot.
That was so awesome.
Yeah.
A late entry into the funniest moments of 2021.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Curtis said he found it quite large on his 6 and 3/4 inch wrist. Where's bigger than my CMAT? Whoa. Okay.
Wow.
That's interesting. Yeah. Lord Lofi says, thought I heard penny. Let's see. Hey, Craig. Good to see you.
Hey, Craig.
Says, sorry I'm late. Got the glycine root beer GMT on tonight. Very cool. Very nice. Pen virus is controlling uncontrollably. Freudian slip. Yeah. Oh boy. You actually have to worry about hand size for pens. So yeah, it's weird. I have really big hands, but really tiny wrists.
Yeah. Wow.
So so I like really big pens. But another ink soup, says Bruno. Wilson says proper pen and a nice spring bar. Oh, sorry, man. That's such a slip. It's crazy. Okay, so let's move on to our videos of interest here. Our main feature. So we'll start. We've got 2 videos lined up. The best pens of. I did it again.
Oh my God.
Wow, what's going on? Okay, we've got the best watches of 2021 per Pete. Okay, we got the best watches of 2021 per pen from Not So Obvious. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. All right.
Oh God.
Okay, I'm good. Whew. All right.
What's in the chalice tonight, my friend?
All right. I don't even have a chalice. Oh, okay. Okay. So we got 2 videos. Best watches of 2021 and the best worst watches of 2021. WatchChris did the worst watches of 2021 video. I thought it was super thoughtful, very well thought out video. And of course, we got Pete on the other hand, who has an incredibly thoughtful video on the best pens. I'm not doing it on purpose.
Oh my goodness.
I hear myself. Oh, yeah. Okay, best watches. It's good to see you. Someone reboot me per Casey Clayton. I need a reboot.
Yeah.
Okay. So going on to the best watches video, I think it was good to start positively. So not that WatchChris's video was negative, but it was very constructive. So the best watch video of 2021.
Watches.
Yep, watches. Talking about watches. Watches are my favorite thing. It's my favorite hobby. Okay, so he started off with the Tudor black base ceramic. Pete was talking about the black base ceramic. He said that it was a follower watch. Okay, I almost said pen there, but it was a follower pen, which is great because
it is inky black.
It is inky black, and it's a good thought. No one really gets the follower doesn't really get the glory. He was talking about, how when there's someone who's dancing or something in the middle of the street, and there's someone else who joins them, then the whole everyone breaks out into dance.
Yeah.
Not that it's a flash mob or something planned, but that everyone it just takes that one follower to break the ice, basically.
Hmm.
And he was saying that the Tudor Black Bay ceramic was probably the best watch to maybe open the floodgate for METAS certification. So I'm not so sure if that's the case, but it'd be really interesting if it is. Um, but we'll find out next year, I guess. So we'll see if this opens the floodgates. So he mentioned the Tudor Black Bay ceramic. Next, I think I don't have my notes, but I think he mentioned the white birch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next was the Fortis. If we want
Oh,
to go in
okay.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
Sorry.
I did write notes if you want me to,
Yeah. No, that's great.
so you don't have to.
Yeah.
So hopefully I won't say pens.
Yeah.
So next was the Fortis Marine Master. He kind of
Yeah.
talked about, it's a watch brand that is, waffling to an extent. Instead of just trying to merely survive and keep breathing, they're actually trying to grow
Yes.
and going up in price and coming out with this watch, which is kind of fashion forward compared to, they have a very Thule aesthetic with their pilots watches. So this watch is very fashion forward compared to their other models, and
Yeah.
he's wondering if what Fortis is doing can encourage other sort of mid-tier brands who are on life support, so to speak,
Yeah.
to kind of instead of just merely trying to survive, maybe a brand like Baume and Mercier, or something like that can Frederick Constant or something, can, instead of just doing what they're doing, come out with a revolutionary watch and charge more for it. Go upscale, see what happens, kind of like Fortis is doing.
Yeah. Which is I don't know how that's working out for them, but um, I haven't really been able to connect with Fortis. I mean, I didn't know them from their more budget days. So for me, Fortis is a clean slate. They can price themselves from
Me
where I'm
too.
coming. They can price themselves wherever they want, and I have that standard for them. I just haven't been able to connect with any of the watches that Fortis releases. So at least thus far. I mean, I haven't been super on them, so there might be something that's out there that they're selling that is really interesting, but yeah, nothing yet. How about you? Have you been interested by any of the Fortis releases?
I like the way they look, but I always thought, I guess, that they played in this price range, so I was a little
Yeah.
surprised. I just am learning as I go, watching Pete's videos and these videos. Yeah, because I thought they were kind of always at this price range for sure. So yeah, I don't know enough to buy them, but they always look attractive to me for sure. I like the way they look, but oftentimes the lug's a bit long on some of those for my
Hmm.
wrist. So
Yeah. Third was the white birch. I'm pretty sure.
what
Um,
was third? Yes, yes.
yeah. This was. I had thoughts about this. Not that he was inaccurate. I wouldn't say. Um, he Pete's thought process on the white birch was that this was the first time, or one the first time people really took notice of a mechanical movement Grand Seiko, like fully mechanical,
Yeah.
traditional mechanical movement, and people took notice, and it's evidence that Grand Seiko's in it to win it when it comes to not just bleeding edge technology when it comes to like spring drive or 9F quartz, but even with traditional mechanical watches. Um, I think the white birch probably had a lot of press, but I I mean I think this watch is super interesting for me because of the movement, like the direction Grand Seiko took this movement. In it's very highly decorated. It has very traditional Swiss or German like movement finishing, which is very interesting to see. And I think that is a departure for Grand Seiko because a lot of their movements are decorated, but in a utilitarian kind of mechanical way. Like I was never impressed with how the spring drive movements look like, or even the 9S movements, which are the mechanical movements. Was never really impressed. The 9F was definitely more decorated than any other quartz movement that I know of, at
Mhm.
least. Maybe the Epigeon Elegant probably is better decorated, but um, very interesting when it comes to decoration with the quartz movement, but their other two were kind of lackluster. I think with their higher end spring drive, so the 9S, no, the 9R A5, that movement isn't still not that impressive. But now you come to the 9S A5, which is in the white birch, and it's eye-wateringly beautiful. So, um, yeah. So I think that's maybe evidence that Grand Seiko is listening to the collector. And so it was a really interesting watch for me for this year as well. So I'm not disagreeing with Pete. I'm just I guess kind of coming at it from a different direction. Your thoughts on the white birch?
Yeah, I think it's, and I don't know as much as you, but yeah, his point was that it's like their first really hyped watch, like maybe the brand, one of the brand's signature watches that he feels like came out with a, instead of a spring drive or a 9F, was a mechanical.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of, you basically nailed it. So yeah, I wish, I've seen so many, and you were saying they don't decorate the movements, and then they print all over the clear case back, which I've always found a little odd. They put the lion on there. They write Grand Seiko, and you can't really see through the display case back. I always thought that was kind of weird,
yeah,
but but yeah. So it is cool that they're showing. We can hang with the big Swiss boys maybe, and make a really one of our signature watches a mechanical watch instead of the spring drive, which, as we know, some people are turned off by.
yeah. Um, do you know what the next one was?
Yep. The UN Torpilliere,
Oh
if I'm
yes,
saying the Marine Chrono.
yeah,
Um, his point on this was Ulysses Nardin sort of lives on the edges, right? They have the freak, they have those erotic watches, and then on the other end they have their divers, but they don't really have anything in the middle. So he thinks this Marine Chrono can sort of be their watch that fits in the middle, kind of their core collection that people can gravitate towards if they don't want to go from one extreme, which is the freak, or the the erotic watches,
yeah,
or like one of their divers, which admittedly are not necessarily my cup of tea. But
right,
this watch just looks, it's nice. It's a really nice, tastefully done watch. And that was his sort of thing. He thought it got coverage, more coverage than a lot of their watches tend to get,
yeah,
in mainstream media too. So he just thought this might be eventually one of their core models.
yeah, yeah. For me personally, thinking about this watch, I wasn't too interested. I I mean, I don't follow Elise Nardin either. In
Yeah,
because of that, probably it's not that interesting of a watch for me. But yeah, it seemed like a solid watch. It it really makes me think about like the enamel dial Seikos and the porcelain dial Seikos, and how much of a rip-off Seiko did on Elise Nardin design, like design language, because it's pretty bad because you have um, the really special blue guilloche dialed Seiko enamel dial watch. I forget exactly what the name of that dial was, but it's identical to a marine chronometer. Ulysse
Urushi, the
not Urushi. It was something else. It was.
okay,
I'm thinking all sorts of green Seiko terminology, but
pen.
Urushi pens exist now. Um, but yeah, so that I'm gonna jump down the chat, see if anyone got that.
Grippo.
Because I know easy Clayton. I I yeah, okay. I know Amin was actually really interested in that blue Gyoshin enamel dialed
Mm.
Seiko, but anyway, it's really similar to Ulysse Nardin, and this one looked a lot like their Laurel. I mean, it might just be a coincidence because Seiko has a really old heritage. Like their Laurel, the Laurel, their
Oh
first
yeah.
wristwatch is like Red 12 and brigade numerals and stuff like that. So I mean, it could just be me, my lack of knowledge there, but because it looked like that at Seiko, it opened my eyes to Seiko not being, non-homologized.
It
Shippo,
just said
yes,
it. Yeah.
there you go. That
Yeah.
is it.
That's right. Yep.
Um, yeah, and I was that the last one that.
No, he did the Citizen
Oh,
mechanical caliber 200.
yes, yes,
So his argument was, he said, and this is true, I think, Citizen is the best known unknown watch brand. They're basically like dead to watch enthusiasts in the West. In the East, they are well known. So they release these, top tier high end models in the East, and this watch, the Caliber 200, maybe they're trying to um, become a watch enthusiast brand in the West like they are in the East.
right,
This release. So um, this is going upscale, and he was also wondering with this movement now what that means for the brands that kind of fit under Citizen that they own, Frederic Constant, Bulova, um, Alpina, and others. So what does that mean for other brands when they're trying to position Citizen, the main brand, the parent brand, as an enthusiast brand in the West, which they just haven't really done. They've been content, with they sell a ton of watches with
yeah,
the Eco Drive, and I've owned several Citizen, and you know I've sold them as well, so I don't know what that says, but man, they are solid. They in build quality, I mean, they have Seiko for lunch, in my opinion. They're really well done, but it's just the lack of automatic offerings, I think, that really do them in with the enthusiast community.
yeah.
Yeah, quality wise, they're solid.
Yeah, and I've been kind of dying to see one of these in person.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's been almost what's it been like 6, 7, 8 months since these were announced,
Yep.
and they're nowhere. Like none of the citizen authorized dealers, at least that I know of, have them in stock here. The legitimate authorized dealers, not like the Macy's. We have like the Bay. You guys have Macy's. I mean, they carry lots of citizens. I haven't seen them there either. So it would be cool to see one in person. I'd really like to get my hands on them. Um,
It would be neat
so
for you to see one as someone who has handled so many different Grand Seiko models to see, because I think that's maybe who they're gunning for.
yeah,
So it'd be interesting to do a comparison.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
All right. So just gonna jump into the chat. We're a little behind here on the chat, but good to see you, Random Rob. Thanks for joining us. And
Hey, Rob.
we got Sands of Time as well. Good to see you, Sam. And I think that's it for the new guys. Uh, Chaz saying just watch the TGV video. He'll
Yeah.
make you connect even a lot before this. It's good. TGV actually is appearing on SoCal podcast episode. So um, really interested to hear or watch that depending on how I get to it. But yeah, looking forward to seeing that. Jason there says their class one, the Fortis PC7 team is very nice on the fly micro adjustment. Cool. Neff says May on the Fortis. Let's see here.
Did anybody rush out and get their Laurier Safari yesterday?
Was that launching yesterday?
Yeah, launched yesterday. I imagine
Okay.
I completely forgot about it actually until today. I saw a Laurier post. I think the first like run we're going to ship soon, and then the next one is delayed like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I think they went through the first run, I'm
Yeah.
sure, very
Yeah.
quickly.
I can imagine. There's a lot of people who follow TGV, so that's just in it dependent. um, let's see. Chad's also saying I've been given some tickets, but I may just watch from my lazy boy. I'm not sure. Oh, the Super Bowl game or the bowl game. I'm guessing the Super Bowl.
No,
Um,
College Bowl.
oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, there you go. I know nothing about football, so um, let's see. Justin says UN has all the freaks.
Yeah.
Um, and mentioned the Shippo, the Urita porcelain. Urita porcelain is so nice. They just launched a new one with a bracelet. It's so beautiful. Oh man. um, Chaz going flippo. Man, that laughing session we just had kind of took out my energy. I'm a little tired.
Uh,
Hey, Steve's here. Hope you're doing well, Steve. Good to see you.
hey, Steve.
Thanks for joining us. Let's see. I'm just gonna skip down, guys. WatchChris was saying, I saw the Laurier Safari in person
Oh,
at a Reason to Red Bar event. Wow. Okay. I didn't. Yeah, that's cool. Was it like a prototype? Because it would have just come out, right? Um, or was TGV Safari slightly different to a other Safari? I know nothing about Laurier, so other than their diver that Keith has. But anyway, let's move on to watch Chris's video. So he had the most disappointing or the worst watches of 2021. He had a
yep.
really interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. I should let you bring this in.
Oh, that's okay. Gosh, that's okay. Yeah, he was inspired by a Top Gear episode. They did the worst cars,
Yeah,
and there were some criteria. It can't be cheap. It has to be terrible, but made by a company that should know better, which I thought was funny. So that was
yeah,
sort of Watch Chris's criteria for this. So the
yeah,
first was the Timex Hodinki Waterbury. So it was they say it's a limited edition, but there are many made. I'm not sure how many they made, but sounds like thousands. So
yeah,
it's misleading that it's a. I'm sure a bunch of people, like most Hodinki releases, right, who want them, try and beat the clock and get them as soon as they can. But these are
yeah,
still up on the website. So he was disappointed that Timex didn't do a little bit better in a Hodinki collaboration, or maybe that Hodinki didn't make them do a little bit better. They use the Miota non-hacking, has a ghost date position. He found very disappointing. Also, mineral crystal instead of sapphire. They are doing some sapphire on their new field watches and other releases. So he was just a little bit disappointed. It is I think he likes the way the watch looks. That's why he bought it, he said. But once getting it, he was a little disappointed by these things.
yeah. And yeah, I was I thought it was a good looking watch. And he did too.
Yeah.
Obviously, which is why he bought it. But not too impressed with this one, especially hearing that it had a non-hacking movement. Because I'm pretty sure even that non-hacking Miota 8000 movement has been updated to hack, right?
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, it must be a really old stock of that Miota movement, which is disappointing. I couldn't care less about it being a limited edition with Hodinki, and I was surprised to hear that it was like, was it 10,000? Like some crazy number of
Thousands. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, this probably would be, they should have known better. So yeah, good
And for
good
almost $300, with the Hodinki name behind it, I mean, come on,
yeah
give us a hacking movement. Come on.
yeah
I agree with them there. It
yeah
is a nice looking watch, and they actually were smart enough. They put Hodinki on the dial, but they put it in kind of the same black as maybe they just sort of engraved it into the dial, so you can't really see it. So
yeah.
I think that has that going for it at least.
Just a quick interjection from Chris. He actually said that it was a prototype that he saw at the Red Bar event. That's
Oh,
really cool.
cool.
Um, First look. Do you have to sign an NDA or something? That's cool. Um, Justin mentioning no hack is whack.
Yeah.
That's good. Um, Neff said it looked like an Explorer diver. It did. It did
Hmm.
look like an Explorer diver. That might be what they were going for, because Timex has been on a bit of a tear with with Rolex homages. So
Yes, they
yeah.
have.
Steve saying Watch Chris should be a fun addition to the streams. Love how he takes on the bleepers. Does a great job calling them out for their shortfalls. Yeah, absolutely. Um, and Chris mentioned that he was mad at Hodinki. That Hodinki didn't mention that there was a ghost bait. Oh yes, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, a real miss there from Hodinki and Timex. Next up was the Baltic, I believe.
Yep. Bobby Legg's favorite brand. It was innovators of design.
Yeah.
The MR01, the micro. Chris, and he's in the chat. He can jump in here. He liked this watch, but the movement. He was not. The price is 600
Mhm.
something, and he felt like this watch would be better priced at in the 400 range or so. But
Yeah.
he said obviously they sold out really quick. But he would have liked to have seen them a little bit cheaper. I think the watch is nice. We talked about it, I think, on a podcast we did together,
We
and
did.
I'm sure, yeah. So, nice watch. Didn't do a whole lot for me, but they obviously sold out very quickly. And it sounds like he really dug the way the watch looked. He just, for the movement that's inside of it, he just felt it was a little expensive.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting how he mentioned that this was not a original design, and I didn't think it was an original design, but
Yeah,
I didn't realize how much of an homage it was because he was showing it next to a few
Patek
Patek,
Philippe. Yeah.
yeah, and the Chronomètre Bleu.
Hmm.
When I saw it, I was like, yeah, it looks just like it. So, yeah, that was really interesting to see. I mean,
Future of watch design.
yeah, so yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know if Baltic should have known better because yeah. Well, I guess design wasn't the knock that they got. It was the movement and the double the price of a
Yeah.
general Hangzhou movement, I think.
Yeah, I didn't want to even try to say it, but yeah, that's it. That's why I just said he didn't like the movement.
Yeah.
I was afraid I would
Um,
butcher it.
yeah, so it's a good addition for worst watch of the year.
Yeah.
Um,
Next was the Tissot Sea Star 2000.
yes.
Um, so I love this watch. I'd seen it before. I didn't know it was 46 millimeter. That was his gripe.
Yeah,
Everything on this watch is an improvement over the Sea Star 1000. I agree with Chris 100%.
absolutely.
The bracelet's better. That bezel on the older Sea Star in certain lighting, I've seen it in videos. It just disappears. I think
Yeah.
Random Rob did a video and it's like, yeah, it's just gone
Yeah.
when it's tilted in the light. The
It was
dial on these new ones look really great too, but they made it in 46 millimeter,
yeah.
so kind of a killer. That's too bad because otherwise it beats the old one hands down in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I think the previous Tissot was kind of emulating the look of the Omega Seamaster. So
Hmm.
the previous and pre 2018 Seamaster, which had that liquid metal filled ceramic bezel, and that one disappeared in certain lights too. So I think they just leaned
Yeah,
into that design.
I had
Uh,
that one. I had that Seamaster and definitely did. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Um, yeah, the size jump is almost tone deaf on Tissot's part, it seems. Really, really weird. Not a lot of people are releasing 46 mil watches nowadays that I know of at least. And I mean the lugs are super short on that. If you look at the pictures, it looks like it'd be pretty stubby, but
Yeah,
definitely well above what most people would be comfortable wearing, at least nowadays. So yeah, it's a real shame because he mentioned, it was like they improved everything about the 1000 and then threw it all away when
yeah.
making it 46.
That would kill as a 41,
Oh, yeah.
42, even
Mhm.
43 if they made the lug to lug manageable. That would absolutely kill. So
Yeah.
yeah, too bad because it's really a nice looking watch.
Yeah. Deb, it's good to see you. Says big people need love too. Good to have options. Says the guy with a 6 1/4 inch wrist.
But then on the other hand, our friend Craig G, who's in here, likes bigger watches. He has a 7.5 inch wrist, and that watch
Yeah.
would look right at home on his wrist. So there is a reason. There is some sort of market research or something that goes into these decisions. I would hope,
Yeah.
even though we may not get it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they went with that for a reason. I
And
hope.
Tissot is huge. Tissot
Yeah.
is like growing up in Sri Lanka, you knew about Tissot. So you knew Rolex, Tissot, and maybe Casio.
Hmm.
So I knew about Tissot. I knew about IWC too. But that was because we got National Geographic magazines that had IWCs on them. But yeah, Rolex, Omega, and Tissot. Um, so they're huge. They're next to Rolex
Yeah.
in terms of not in terms of quality, obviously, but in terms of value or brand recognition. Um, So maybe they know what they're doing.
Which is really interesting because a lot of their models don't really jump to mind. The name, the brand does more than like specific models of watches. For me anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really the Visidate. That's about all I really springs to mind for
Hmm.
me when I think of Tissot.
Yeah.
But
PRX.
yeah, I mean now, but
Yeah.
like if you asked me a year ago,
Yeah. I was super into Tiso, so I could have probably like
yeah,
maybe not a year ago, but 2.5 years ago, I was really into Tiso. So the PR 100s, the Gentleman, they didn't have a Gentleman back then, but
yeah.
um, I was I had the Sea Star 1000,
Oh,
and
did you?
it looked comical on my wrist, but I enjoyed it. Yeah. That was the last one, I think, right?
Nope, yeah, a
Oh no,
couple
the
more
Seiko.
here. Yep, the Open Heart Ginza Presage, which I actually saw this watch in person
Yeah.
yesterday. Yep, they didn't have the Ginza Alpinist, but they had this, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
Boy, that Open Heart's like, what a shame. This dial is really cool,
Yeah.
and you just throw this Open Heart design, and he said it was because it would sell more than the Alpinist, and they didn't want that. So they may have done this on purpose. Yeah, it really is an odd choice. My friend John and I, we both kind of said, "Oh, yeah, I don't like that Open Heart," but we were like really fixated on the dial. So really well done. The dial is impressive. Got to see a lot of new Seiko releases yesterday in person. We could talk about that later, but
Yeah.
yeah, really beautifully done.
Yeah.
But
I
I agree with Chris.
I think that whole line was a huge miss for me, at least, because they released this design of watch. It's kind of like the Crown Chronograph re-release limited edition they had. I want to say 2 years ago. I don't know if you're familiar with the Crown Chronograph. It was like a mono pusher.
Hmm.
Um, it was used
Yes.
in the Olympics or something
Yeah.
like that.
The early
Um,
60s. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So they did like a limited edition run of those reinterpretations because they weren't actually chronographs. This kind of looks like that, um, but they really dragged the design through the mud. Kinda.
Yeah. Bezel
With,
doesn't turn.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, odd.
So I feel like this whole line is really a huge miss, but I kind of get the open heart. When I was getting into watches, I didn't want to go full skeleton dial, but I really wanted to see the escapement from the front, and I owned one of those SSA models, SSA 359 maybe. It was black cocktail time with an open heart, and now it looks horrible, but back then it was super interesting to me, and maybe I'm sure they sold a whole bunch of these. It's well priced. I'm sure they sold a whole bunch,
Yeah, I'm sure.
even though yeah. Um,
And then the last one was a truly hideous watch, the Genius Genta Royal Oak and Nautilus mishmash,
yeah,
which boy oh boy, geez Louise, that's an ugly one.
yeah. I don't know if you noticed. So you know how it's just cut down the middle. You got the Nautilus in the top and the Royal Oak at the bottom.
Yeah,
Um, the bracelet, half the bracelet is Royal Oak and Nautilus. I didn't notice that the
so
first time I saw
weird.
the print. I can't believe they had two halves of a bracelet. This is like it's incredible. Oh
Yeah.
man, what were they thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. That takes the cake. That one is probably one of the more ugly watches I've seen, and maybe not just this year. Maybe way to start the decade here. That's the one to be beat so far, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ugliest watch of the 20s.
Yeah. Oh boy. Um, Chris actually mentioned that Crown Chronograph release made my worst watches of 2020.
Yeah.
That's I really like that watch. I get why it's such a miss. It's kind of a similar reason to why this is a bit of a miss. But if you look at the watch for itself, it's such a great watch, that Crown Chronograph re-release. If you look at this watch on its in a vacuum, this is such a great watch. If you compare it to the old Laurel Alpinist, like the first 1959 Alpinist, this is a spit in its face, you know. Almost. It's got a date. It's not saying alpinist anymore in
Doesn't
the
say
dial.
Laurel or Alpinist. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bodge. It's horrible if you think of it, if you try to think of it in terms of heritage. But if you look at the watch, just for the watch, which is really hard to do because they plaster it everywhere, about how great it's an alpinist and how great the previous one was, the Crown Chronograph. it's uh, it's such a shame that Seiko has to do this.
The
They
King
kind of,
Seiko reissue is probably the biggest hit. They made that one. I've never actually seen an older King Seiko in person, but I've seen this new re-release in person, and yeah, I think they got that one right. I would say,
oh yeah,
yeah, that's really a nice watch.
yeah. They didn't make it too big. They did have to shoehorn a date in for some reason, but
Yeah,
it's well done.
yeah.
It's really well done. Yeah, so let's move on to Dirk's video. Uh,
It's a heavy subject.
yeah,
So it's just he did a video about mental health. Let me get it here. Let me find my notes. Of course, I wrote this one down first. So it's just a mental health check-in.
yeah.
Um, he had a fun. He's big into. He's a EDC guy. Has a knife channel. Dirk Werning. Watch guy as well, but primarily reviews knives. And he had all of his donut EDC knives and donuts with sprinkles, kind of to lighten the mood. Um, he talked about how he struggled with mental health. It's the holidays, and I mentioned this in my podcast today too. Not everybody does well during this time. I have family members who really struggle during this time, and
Mhm.
I know to keep my distance, or because it's not always a joyous festive time for everyone. I can't be around my family during the holidays. I know that's hard on my mom. Not all the time. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. I know that can be tough. My mom has problems with it for other reasons as well. Um, he was spurred on to make this by an acquaintance he had in school. They weren't close friends or anything, but when you hear about a childhood friend who takes their own life or passes away, you feel bad about that. So this was really just, without getting too heavy into a subject, this was just a check-in video. How are you doing? Are you
Yeah,
doing well? If you know somebody who's struggling, um, yeah, we've had an extended family member take her own life a couple years ago, and nobody really knew what was going on until it was too late. And just check in on people you love, and if you're not doing well, reach out. We're all friends here in this community. Like, don't be shy. If you're struggling, if you're having a rough time, even if it's not to the point where you're thinking dark thoughts, man, just message us on Instagram. You know, Sanjay always says you have infinite value and you matter, and we're not just saying that. Like, just reach out, just check in. So my main question was just like, I hope you're all doing well. I know the holidays can be a stressful time for everyone. Just check in with each other, and if you see somebody who needs help, or if you need help, please reach out.
yeah. I totally agree. As I'm one of those people who has gone through. I mean, so many people do. I I don't like calling it a mental health thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's just how I grew up. And it was kind of like what Dirk was talking about. You know, you kind of grow up, you rub some dirt in it, and get up
Yes.
and
Yep.
get going. You don't. You just you don't cry, and my kids even say that to me. Daddy never cries. Mommy cries all the time. Not, um,
You
but
called me a pen again.
um,
Oh
So
gosh.
yeah, it's just a thing, that we, I guess, as guys predominantly in this hobby, we should check in on each other, be willing to talk about stuff, and just talk too. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be about what you're going through. You don't have to open up to anyone about anything. It's it's about just chatting. Um, and yeah, I mean, I have, like, I don't know if you see during wrist shots, but when I was a teen, I had teenage angst, I guess. So there's a lot of marks on my wrist from what I used to do. Again, I feel kind of don't want to talk about that, but yeah, hey, it's good to check in on each other. I feel like there is a solution to this problem. It's uh, I mean, yeah, we're kind of low on time. I don't want to go through the whole story or try to open up this subject, but yeah, it's a great idea to check in
Yeah.
on anyone, everyone, someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. And right after watching Dirk's video, I did check in on a couple of people. So thank you,
Yeah.
Dirk, for that reminder. That was I appreciate that.
Dirk has done a few of these videos before. They always so without go he gave some statistics, and I had a friend, an acquaintance. We knew each other casually. He took his own life a couple years ago, and one of the alarming things was he tried to get professional help. It was a there was some schizophrenia going on that had developed kind of out of nowhere, according to his wife. He just became like a very paranoid person, and the mental health system in Rhode Island really let him down, and it's frustrating. And I think that might go into a lot of the those statistics that Dirk read off in his video. It
Yeah.
was really sad. We talked with his wife, and she was very open about it. On this, like, if you need help, like, maybe you go to the people in your life before going to the actual medical professionals, because they said full beds. They turned him down at
Oh wow.
the hospital here, psychiatric hospital, and it was just, it's heartbreaking that he actually tried.
Yeah.
He tried the day he took his own life.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, let's you know, and he didn't tell anybody either. His own mom didn't know what he was going through. So
Yeah.
I think the reason I'm so open about when I'm struggling is because I was very close with my grandfather, and he didn't take his own life, but he was a very depressed guy, and he was old school, like Dirk said, rub dirt in it. You cut yourself, rub dirt in it, and move on. We don't talk about that kind of stuff. We don't
Hmm.
talk about when we're sad. We don't cry, and that's one of the reasons I think I looked up to my grandfather so much, and I could see he was a pretty sad guy. It was, even as a kid, I could tell there was something going on. I didn't know what it
Yeah.
was. Only years later do you kind of understand what it might have been,
Yeah.
maybe when you go through stuff. But yeah, we can always yeah, let's just rely on each other, and talk to each other, and just, yeah, check in.
Absolutely. And like Clayton mentioned, and how I like to mention, you guys, there is no replacing any one of you. Like, you may feel like just a number or a stat. There is no replacing you. Um, they might replace you at work. They might Your family might replace you somehow, but you have infinite value, and you can't be replaced as a person. There's no substitute for you. So every single one of you are really important. So yeah, that's something I always like to mention.
Now call a watch a pen again so we can laugh before we get out of here.
Well, we can quickly blow through Paul Thorpe's video.
Oh yes, please go ahead.
Um, this is interesting because I'm super interested to see Paul Thorpe's interview with this flipper. Next week, I think he's supposed to have a flipper, a Rolex flipper or a Patek flipper, one of these high end watch flippers, uh, come on and do an interview with him. He mentioned that there were some negotiations. I wonder if this flipper went full flipper and actually requested payment to come on. But
Yeah, I
um,
wonder, for anonymity. It made it sound like, yeah, there was some confidentiality and anonymity.
yeah,
I'm glad I said that word correctly as well. But it sounds like this person was maybe concerned about their identity being, I don't know.
yeah.
That's what he made it sound like. He was all he was mysterious about it.
Yeah, yeah. But the video was mainly a good foundation, so a baseline, which I think we all should do. Kind of like when we're dealing with terms, it's always good to actually lay the foundation and define the term before going forward. Like homage, like we call it an homage, but we actually mean copy. Right in the watch world, we say homage, but we mean copy watch, or rip off, or I'll keep going down
Yeah.
that can of worms. But so the point was to lay the foundation, and it was Jonathan from Edinburgh Watch Company who left a message for Paul, and he just played this message and kind of added that he was going to have there were three kinds of flippers that he was aware of, and Paul said there's a fourth one that he will, a sinister fourth,
Is more sinister, yes.
and that they're going to talk about it this upcoming week. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see what happens. Might be just a hype thing that isn't much of a climax, or it was just a it might be a great video. So
I can think of a fifth one. Me loses a bunch of money every time he sells a watch.
I think that was the first one, right?
Yeah, that was.
So the first flipper is a guy who just goes and buys a watch, finds out it's not for him, which is kind of all of us, really.
Yeah.
Because I would be considered a flipper here. Clayton, sometimes a flipper. Every one of us, we flip watches because they just don't work out for us. We're not trying to make money. It might happen that we break even. We might make a few dollars, or we might lose a whole bunch of money. We might lose a little. But it's because the watch doesn't work out for us and we want to move on from it, put that money somewhere else, on a different watch. The second kind of flipper is evading me right now because I didn't make my notes. Did
Yeah,
you
I didn't. Oh God, I didn't. I remember the third one, which
Yeah,
was
the third
kind of
one's
the
the important
flipper
one,
for
isn't it?
profit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So the third one is the flipper that goes around, and makes up stories, kind of, in certain instances, makes up stories to go to various ADs that are not chains, but mom and pops ADs, boutiques, not boutiques, ADs that sell Rolex or Patek, and they make up stories, try to get up on the list, like someone's graduation
anniversary. Yeah,
anniversary, yeah, anything to get that watch, and then once they get that watch, they flip it to someone like Jonathan at that Edinburgh Watch Company, or whoever else, where they just no relationship or anything, just what's your best price? All right, see ya, kind of interaction with them. So Jonathan was mentioning we kind of have to do it to get those pieces in, but that's kind of where there's that moral or ethical dilemma here, where these guys, I feel like it's more of a problem for the actual watch dealer, used watch dealer, because they actually have to pay taxes and registered as a business, while these flippers, everything looks personal. They make a whole bunch of money, potentially. Well, no, they kind of do,
yeah,
because say with a Batman or something, or
yep.
oh man, I wish I had Bobby Lex's I'm in Batman. uh,
That was
so
pretty epic.
yeah. uh, but you have a Batman and you sell it for 2 or 3 times the price. Even if you sell it for 2 times the price, you're doubling your money for not a lot of work.
Yeah,
So, and they don't have to declare that or anything. So, I mean, well, I think there's a little bit of problem there, but it's not much for me to really care about. Um, I mean, I care about it, but not enough to do anything about it. Kind of.
yeah,
That sounds bad, but I'm not a dealer, and it doesn't directly affect me. Also, doesn't directly affect me because I don't love Rolex. So yeah, so for an AD, this is a bit more of a problem. Um, so Clayton, what were your thoughts on these three kinds of flippers? The second of which we do not know.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely identified with the first one. I love Paul. He's so I just like how kind of dramatic he is. But you're right, he did lay down the foundation. I think it was pretty cool that he did this video, and and they kind of went over these, and I'm very interested to hear what the fourth sinister type of flipper is. Maybe the theft, maybe stealing watches and then flipping them is probably where he's going, since
That's
he
yeah,
is pretty big on the watch
robbery.
robbery
Yeah,
deal.
no, that could be it.
Yeah. So that's what I thought anyway. But yeah, I mean,
I feel like it wouldn't be that.
no,
It's because it's not. They're not flipping, right?
they're
They're
just
literally
crooks.
stealing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
Um,
they're still rotten and profiting. Really, that's would be the worst kind of
oh yeah.
selling of watches. But yeah, I thought it was a great outline of all the different kind of flippers. I've made money on a handful. I've probably overall on the negative and I don't even want to begin to look at those numbers because that would be that'd be pretty depressing. It's a rental fee, right? We'll
Yeah.
look at it that way. It's a rental fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas, thank you so much for the super chat. You're very kind. That's a lot
Thank
you've
you.
given me this weekend, Thomas. So easy there. But I do appreciate it. Pale Horse, hey, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Um, yeah. Let's see here. Type of flipper. Oh yeah, Nephis is number one type
I
of
think
flipper.
most of us are.
Yeah. Jason mentioned that he's made money on a handful of watches, mostly lose my pants. Yeah. Chaz is the lose the shirt kind of flipper. Um,
I do
and
things like I did yesterday. Well, I buy a watch without really having the money, and you have to. I know I can flip watches to do it, but you buy. It's like asking forgiveness instead of permission. More so, that's how my marriage works too, I guess. But yeah, then today had to flip a watch, and you price to sell, and you're gonna lose a little bit. So
yeah,
it's all part of the game.
yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you.
If we want to keep buying watches, sometimes that's what we have to do. That's the price you pay.
Do you think if you would you feel like now that you had the watch, you're more pressured to sell the one just for your peace of mind, kind of? So
Yeah, I
you're
don't
willing
have
to,
to, but
yeah,
I've made a deal with myself to if I'm going to have this need to buy watches, that I need to one has to come out now. Just
yeah,
because I don't want to use any more. I have so much money into in my collection that just for me, like now, as you know, as I get older and need to save money, like it has to come out of the collection.
yeah,
Is kind of unless I put money aside specifically, which I'm doing as well, but
yeah,
that's for a bigger purchase. With this, I could sell something today that made up for it, so broke even. That's just I feel like that's the more responsible thing to do if I am going to have this addict-like need to buy watches,
yeah,
which I seem. Let's just call it what it is. I do.
yeah,
So I feel like I feel better about it if something comes out and I pay for it through selling another watch.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. Watchbox flipper says Chris, hoard up all the FB Jorn and move the market, then flip them way over retail.
Yeah.
Was that the second one? Maybe I just zoned out during the second one. I don't know what happened. I watched the video twice, so yeah, it's weird. Um, yeah. So Neff says these professional flippers are thieves too. Make and the rest of us who want a watch have to pay double for it. Yeah, yeah. See, that's why I kind of felt bad that I said I didn't care about it enough to do anything about it. Because they are causing a problem.
Yeah.
By buying whatever watch they can get your hands on. Um, People who actually want to wear the watch are not going to get the chance to. So
But I mean, like the crazy OP that like Mark Goldberg bought for 18,000. I saw one go on Topper for that, and I said, "Oh my God, that is insane!" And it sold within minutes, and I
yeah.
was completely shocked.
Oh man,
So,
after the Tiffany dial
oh geez,
Nautilus,
yeah,
that thing is to the moon now. I feel like.
yeah.
All right. Sorry for kind of train plowing through that last couple of videos. We're pretty bad at managing time because we
Yeah, we always go long.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's so much fun though. And I do appreciate that you guys joined. I was thinking about this today, and I wanted to kind of mention it tonight that there's so many good streams going on. I know I don't have the time to check in on all these streams, but there is so many of you who are actually watching us, and you're actually giving us your time. And I want to say how much I appreciate that. I do really appreciate that you guys are all here. All you guys who are listening after, there's a significant chunk of you guys who actually choose to listen to us. Um, and we do appreciate that. That's so kind.
Very much so. Very much.
Just to know, and I do consider you all friends, and I hope you do consider us friends, because even if we don't get to chat too much, but yeah, it's been really great having you on, Clayton. I missed chatting with you. It feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
The last couple of weeks has just been kind of a zoo here, and
yeah,
it's hard for me to get on. But yeah, I missed being on WatchTube. I love it, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you so much for having me.
yeah. Of course, I need to catch up on your episode today, and I think I missed your last episode. I don't know why, but I have 2 episodes to catch up on.
I don't know if you've ever read the book Ready Player One, but it was sort of
Oh, that was
comparing the watch hobby to the Oasis in that book as sort of an escape from reality,
okay. I have
kind
not.
of.
I've heard of the movie Ready Player One. There was a movie, right?
Yeah,
Um,
based on the book. Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
I have not read the book. I remember seeing some sort of slum that the protagonist lives in. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, okay,
The stacks. Yeah. It's the
right.
world's it's very comparable. The world's gone to hell in that universe, and then I was kind of comparing it to what we went through last year and what we're going through to a certain extent now.
Yeah,
Yeah, just I don't know why I woke up with that idea and just recorded it. Sometimes that just happens. I won't
yeah,
record
that's
an
great.
episode for weeks and then just get an idea.
Yeah,
Uh,
Kevin said read the book first.
I've
You
never
got
even
it,
seen the
Kevin.
movie. Actually, I say in the podcast that I just don't want to see a CGI version of. I love that book, and it CGI and the Hollywood big special effects does not match my like vision of that
Right.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That happens with a lot of books.
yeah,
Like your imagination takes it to places that
yeah,
movie CGI can't. So
yeah.
yeah. Bill called me a real mensch. I don't know what that means, but I will Google it. Um,
You're
but
just
yeah,
a all-around good guy. That's what that means.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, guys. Well, hope you all have a great week. I will catch you guys next week for Saturday Night live stream. Clayton just released a podcast, but I don't know if you have anything planned for the week to come.
Yeah, probably something about the Aquas. I was thinking about
Oh yeah.
asking maybe you and maybe Tennessee Mike to come on and
Oh, that'd be
in
so much fun.
defense of the Oris Aquas, since I have one now. I wanted to get a couple good podcasts out of it. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and again, I'm just echoing your statements too. When I release a podcast, like on the on a Sunday, I do it randomly because I just record when I can. It's never the same day, and right away I check the stats and all the downloads, and it just means so much. Like that you take time to listen to me just drone on and not make sense most of the time. It really means a lot. It makes me feel good. So thank you so
Yeah,
much for yeah, again, using your time, which is so valuable,
yeah,
because you there's not much time to go around between family and kids and jobs, and to yeah, take a little bit of your day to listen to me. That means a whole lot. So thank you.
yeah. Especially us out of all the other
Oh God, yeah.
fantastic YouTubers, like, and podcasters. I mean,
Yeah.
you're one of the fantastic
Oh
podcasters,
gosh,
but
stop it.
um, like, I mean, there's a wealth of live streams and podcasts, and that you guys actually decide to spend time with us.
Yeah.
That blows my mind, and it's not. I know it's not because I deserve it. It's because
Yeah.
you guys are great. So
Exactly. That's how I feel too. And
yeah,
yeah, it just makes me and some of the people that message me and tell me that they enjoy the show, I'm like, "Really? You? You like this? You're so much better than that." Why would you
yeah,
waste your time on me?
yeah,
But I'm glad you do.
yeah, yeah. We should have Neff on too, if
Yeah.
Neff is
Oh,
willing to come
sure.
on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, he has the blue OG caliber 400, I think.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys next week. Take care.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe out there.
Have a good night.
Good night.